Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of the Last Night's Game podcast. I'm your host, Amy Butchon-Siegfried, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of focusing on one topic, there are so many things happening this week in the world of sports that we wanted to kind of break them out and give you little nuggets of small talk around all of them so you're prepared depending on what crowd you're in. If you're in a hockey crowd, you're in a basketball crowd, soccer crowd, we will have you covered. Hot dog eating crowd. So this one's basically set for barbecue talk. You're all set ahead of the 4th of July holiday and everything else that happens in the summer. And here to talk all about all the things happening and to take me to school and teach me all the things is Scott. Scott is co-founder, my favorite brother. Scott, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on. You're my favorite sister, for the record.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. You say
And
that. You say that now. Wait till I ask you all the questions.
because I'm on video, I have to. It's in my contract.
Yeah. Do not slander my name on the podcast.
No, just off the podcast, we can do that.
Line A.
Yeah, and we have there's a lot of random events going. NHL's over, basketball's over. Now we kind of go into these random events that are not traditionally, the top four sports, but we have stuff to look forward to that is exciting to keep sports fans and non-sports fans engaged.
It's true. Summer tends to slow down just a little bit, especially the month of July. We have baseball. We still have WNBA. We still have a lot of things happening, but it tends just to get a little bit quieter. The past couple of years, we've had World Cup, we've had Olympics. So when we get into these, we really want to highlight some of these things because this is what people are going to be talking about in the world of sports. But I really want to talk about the biggest thing on my radar, the hot dog eating contest for the 4th of July. There was some breaking news recently about this contest, and people may have forgotten because I kind of did too. But Joey Chestnut did not participate last year, which is probably why it wasn't very memorable. But he's back.
He's back. We had big breaking wiener news, as you mentioned. And that wiener news was that the greatest of all time, the best champion ever, best competitor of our generation, Joey Chestnut, is back to eat hot dogs competitively for Nathan's Hot Dogs.
4th of July will be right this year.
Yeah, I remember last year, I believe we were together, and I think they were at an army base in Texas where
That's
we had
right.
like the random competition against the soldiers, and they had like 6 soldiers up against him combined, and none of them came close.
They tried
Yeah.
real hard to make it like entertaining and make it something so different. And it just, that wasn't it. And I think the base was in Houston, maybe, or somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
I remember us watching it and being like, it's got to be 110 degrees there right now. And they're having to eat these hot dogs. And I just want to throw up myself.
Yeah, it's not great hot dog eating weather for sure.
No, not so much. But we have done a hot dog eating contest before. We decided one year, and I'll have to find it on our Instagram. We decided one year to do a hot dog eating contest between the two of us. And you ate Impossible Dogs, who were actually the demise of Joey Chestnut. So we can dive into that just a little bit.
Yes.
You ate Impossible hot dogs. I ate regular ones. I think I ate like 1.5. You may have ate 3, and I think you threw up or something. If I remember correctly, because no offense, Impossible. 3 of 3 or more of those is a lot.
Yeah, I think you may have actually beaten me. I don't recall the exact results, but I know it was not good. I think the Impossible Dogs are impossible to eat a lot of them at a short amount of time based on their ingredients.
Yeah.
And I think the real hot dogs are probably better for you, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I fed part of the dog, though, so in all fairness.
Well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah, it's true. When your competitor is over there in pain and not paying any attention, you can sort of parcel things off.
Yes, unfortunately, Joey cannot during the competition, but
No,
you could. We did not come close to breaking his record.
No, nowhere close. This is like what he does like on a bad day when he has food poisoning.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he's probably had. So, but Impossible Dogs, they're sort of the reason that last year's 4th of July Nathan's hot dog eating contest went awry. Joey Chestnut decided to be to be endorsed by Impossible Foods, and Nathan said, "No, that's a competitor to our all beef hot dogs.
Yes.
So therefore, no, you're out unless you change your mind." And he said, "Screw you. I'm going to go do my own thing." And he took on a Netflix show. In September, he did a Netflix hot dog eating contest with, am I wrong, Kobayashi?
Kobayashi, who also had a contractual disagreement with Nathan's Hot Dogs, and that's why he no longer did that as well. They both kind of had a little grudge there and tried to destroy them in the ratings, although it got pushed back to September, and he ended up eating 83 hot dogs in 10 minutes, which
I
is,
bet you they weren't Nathan's hot dogs.
I doubt they were, no. And it was in Las Vegas, and I tried to figure out how to go, and there was just no information. So
Really?
I don't know how they filled the crowd. Like, they provided, I tried so hard, and there
Yep.
was just no way. Yeah,
Netflix did not want you there
they
or
did
anyone
not.
else.
No, there was a crowd there. I don't know. They must have just pulled random people in who didn't know what they were doing.
They probably pulled some people off the craps table and like, here you go. Here's some
Yeah,
screwdrivers. Go sit in the back. Cheer loud.
it just honestly it sounded just disgusting because it was indoors. And I'm sure it was just very gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's back. I mean, last year's winner, he only ate 58 hot dogs for Nathan, so that's kind of
Only.
sad.
So some terms we need to think about when we
Mhm.
talk about the hot dog eating contest. So when you're watching it, terms to know: reversal of fortune,
Mhm.
growing up, the splash zone. Obviously, let's put those two together, and that's probably the first row or two. That is maybe not the place
Yes.
you want to be. What else? They have to eat the whole hot dog in the bun. They can dip it in water.
Yeah, there's all different strategies dipping the bun in the water to soften up because when we did it, the bun was also
Hard.
very hard.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah,
But also,
it's not the wieners, it's the buns.
yeah, it's the buns. The buns are the problem.
Yeah,
What I would really like to see this turn into, if it was me, Costco, I want you to step up. Costco, you have the
Costco
best hot dogs. I mean, I don't eat a ton of hot
and the
dogs, but
cheapest.
and the cheapest, right? So let's talk about Costco getting in and doing their own hot dog eating contest. That's what I would tune into. Can someone go into a store that smells like tires and baked goods and
Delicious.
down a whole bunch of Costco hot dogs? Because those are way bigger than anything else. And make that happen. That's what I want to see, the Costco contest, where I can get some samples and watch
And then
you
just
do what
go.
you do. And maybe there's a pizza eating contest on the side because they have those giant slices of
Pizzas
pizza.
for cheap.
Costco, call me. I'm here for
Let's
this.
work this out.
They could go up against Sam's Club or something like that and be like,
Ooh,
taking on
wow.
Target or something, be like, this is why Costco is better.
Battle of the wholesale brands.
Battle of the flat carts.
Yes.
Okay, 4th of July, Atlantic City
Tune in.
on the boardwalk. Tune in for that. It's typically around lunchtime-ish,
About
depending on
9
where
a,
you
9
are.
a.m. West Coast time,
Yep,
typically, give or take.
give or take a few. So tune in,
Yes.
watch that. There'll be a men's and a women's competition. Obviously,
Hmm.
Joey Chestnut will be back shooting to break that record from his last Netflix one of 80.
Which I think is an unofficial Nathan's record.
It
He has
is
to get to 83. He's shooting for 80 again, which is
88.
80. I think he's shooting to break 80.
It sounds
The
like my
Netflix dogs
golf
may have
score.
been faster than the Nathan's dogs. That's
Got
why I
it.
think he got 83.
Got it. Okay. From hot dogs, let's go to the NBA draft. I'm not going in chronological order, just so you know if
We
you're
are
watching
not.
this. I am going in what Amy is most interested in order,
And that's all
mostly
that matters
because
in life.
hot dogs are you're my younger brother. You understand that that's how that works around here.
Yes.
So we go from the hot dog eating contest, which on the 4th, but this week we have the NBA draft.
Hmm.
And just give us a little rundown because the draft starts with a lottery. And then who are we watching for in the actual draft? Because there's not a lot of I feel like it's not like the NFL draft where we've got a lot of big names that we've been watching. So talk to me about the lottery and how they get there first.
Well, the lottery is always a point of contention. We'll start there. So the teams that don't make the playoffs, depending on where you finish in from best to worst, you have a percentage to win the lottery. Because there's a lot of lottery balls, just like the lottery you play at home, or yeah, they crank it and all the balls shoot out. Depending on how bad your record is, you have a better chance to win the lottery. I don't think they did that to prevent tanking, which means you lose on purpose to get the first pick. And since they've done it, I don't know how many years it's been that the worst team has never actually won the lottery.
Well,
So
interesting. Okay. And
it
it's what,
hasn't really paid
typically
off.
3 or 4 teams? How many teams are in the lottery?
It's
Or
everyone who doesn't make the playoffs.
everyone? Okay.
And then from there, it just gets seeded by your record.
Okay. So I get more
So everyone
chances
has
the
a
worse I
chance,
am.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And typically the team that does the worst never gets it. I think that's on purpose because there's been a lot of controversy about rigging the lottery. And
Hawkins,
this
breaking
year
the
did
law.
not dispel any of those rumors because we had this. If you go back to February, massive trade where Luka Doncic was traded from Dallas to the biggest media market in the NBA in Los Angeles with the Lakers, who just sold for $10 billion. So there's a lot of moving pieces here. And the Mavericks record was not bad at all. Like, they were a very good team, and they shouldn't have won the lottery. I think they had 1% chance. So there's a lot of dots to connect that you send Luka to LA for not really a great return, and we'll give you the first pick.
You have a pissed off fan market. But Dallas is still a big market, so it's not
Yes.
like it's
It's
not a
not a
small
small
market.
market by any means. No, and they were in the finals the year before, so they've got a good core. And now
Argument
they've
sells out and all goes to shit.
yeah, basically that's exactly what happened. Not a shark move
Nope.
at all.
Nope. Okay, so Dallas, they had the first draft pick in the WNBA draft.
They did.
Paige
Even
Becker.
more dots. We're
Yeah.
connecting more dots.
And
Yeah,
then, okay, so the Dallas Mavericks have the first pick in the NBA draft. At this point, they could trade it if they wanted
they
to.
could trade.
They're
Yes, I don't
probably
think
not going to, and they are
no.
going to pick.
Cooper Flag,
I was like, you say it. Okay. And
and
tell me about
he's
Cooper
this.
Flag.
I was gonna say, yeah, this is a he's considered like a generational talent that can change a franchise just because of his skill level. He did have to go to Duke for a year, where he made a ton of money,
Of course he did.
and he came out. I mean, he could have gone straight to the draft without college. So having to
How?
go to Duke, if he didn't have to go to
Well,
college,
if he
he
didn't have
would.
to go to college, okay, because
Yes,
they have a rule where you have to play basically 1
one
year
year.
outside of college, or excuse me, outside of high school, I'm sorry.
Yes, and if that wasn't a rule, he could have gone straight from high school because he was playing against Team USA in scrimmages leading up to the Olympics, and by all accounts, like holding his own and actually dominating.
As like a junior in high school, because that was last
Yes,
year. Oh my
and
god.
he reclassified, so he's technically could have been in high school another year.
Okay.
So he's generational talent, widely regarded as he's going to change your franchise. So a lot of teams start losing on purpose,
Of
and
course they
then
did.
none of them are going to end up with him, which is terrible for their fan bases.
I mean, but you don't know if you don't try.
Exactly. And then you put him on a team that was in the finals the year before, minus their big superstar. And you kind of give Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, a do over,
Yeah.
or like a get out of jail free card in a way that the fan base hates him. And now they're just gifted probably one of the best players in recent history.
Interesting. And then, well, he's young, so which also means he's probably not super injury prone and some of those other
No.
things that we worry about as we all get older.
Yes. Unfortunately, we do have to deal with injuries. And he's young, tall, 6'10, 6'11. So he can change that franchise, get that fan base excited again. And kind of a weird thing, like you mentioned, we don't know a lot of these guys coming out. A lot of them are from foreign leagues and kind of all over. And this year we had the least amount of early entries from college in recent memory. Only 106 players declared and stayed. So, and
Declared stay
that is,
in
yeah,
declared for the draft.
hmm the
Okay.
least amount since 2015.
Why do you think that is? There's an
That is
opportunity. They can now make money on NIL and
NIL.
everything else.
Yeah, NIL, so which means that they can make money off their name, image, likeness, and then they passed that rule recently where colleges can start paying teams. So now they can make money in college and not have to worry about going pro and not getting drafted and ending up somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, so they might as well make the money they're making now in
Stay.
college, and then maybe they end up on a European team if they can't
Mhm.
get drafted. But
Yes, correct. So that's had direct impact on the amount of people going to the NBA.
interesting. Very, very. See, you teach me something new every day.
Which what we've learned with the women's game, the longer you stay in college, maybe you get to build your brand up a little bit better, and people will know and care about you.
Absolutely. I mean, if you watch, like I said, what Cooper Flag did, and
Yeah,
he was really like, no offense to anybody else, but he was really the guy.
the only yes.
There wasn't, and unlike the WNBA draft and some of those where you had a lot of
Mhm.
players to watch, I feel like he's the only one anyone's talking about.
Correct. Yes. Unfortunately, that's just how things work, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we have hot dogs. We have the NBA draft.
Mhm.
We also have going on right now Euro Cup soccer. Is that the right club soccer? What's it?
FIFA Club Championship.
That's it. Thank you.
Yes.
So what does that mean? So it's a FIFA club championship.
Mhm.
So a club team to me, and I could be wrong, could be like
Mhm.
a is it like a Manchester United and who I just had the team, Inter Miami? Like is that are those
Yes.
both club teams? Okay.
Those are considered club teams. So in soccer, you have like your national team, which is your France's, your England's, Germany's, and then you have the club teams that are within the countries, much like we have the MLS. So all the MLS
Mhm.
teams are considered club teams.
Okay.
So they're all basically the pro teams that you watch
So
on
basically
TV.
it's a pro
Yes.
team competition
Yes,
across
from
global.
around the world.
Okay.
So it's essentially the club team World Cup.
Got it. Okay. That's gotta be interesting. I haven't watched a ton of it, but, I would
It's been
imagine
on at
there
weird times, like during the day. And so you'll see pictures of the crowd. Everyone's complaining like Tuesday at noon, there's no one at the game
of course not.
because people work,
Yeah,
unfortunately. So not
yeah.
many people can make it to the games on a
Although they
Tuesday.
have to be. I mean, the bigger market
Yeah,
probably for TV is really not
it's
the
overseas.
Americas, it's Europe and okay, so we've got those teams playing each other. They're playing in this is like basically a preview of locations
Hmm.
for the next year's Men's World Cup, which is happening in the Americas, right? Canada, the United
Yes,
States, Mexico. So they're essentially like test driving these locations. Does that sound accurate?
that's exactly what it's a precursor to the actual World Cup to make sure that things can go smoothly and can be run by Americans.
Got it. And so
So and
what are
and you
some
have like all
sites?
the biggest names in the world playing. So that's their appeal.
Okay. So we have guys like Messi are playing from
Hmm.
he's from Inter Miami. It's his
Yes.
birthday today, actually. Funny
Happy
enough.
birthday,
Happy
Messi.
birthday, Messi. We have Messi, and then we have who else are we watching for in this World Cup that we might want to?
PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, who just won the Champions League. So they went straight from partying with the Champions League title to coming over here to play. So we'll see how good they feel.
Oh, that's
Could be kind of
interesting.
rough.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Real Madrid, like all these big club teams that you watch on TV, everyone's
Mhm.
favorite players will be in it.
Okay. And they're playing in cities like Atlanta,
Mhm.
Charlotte, Cincinnati, LA, Miami, Nashville, New York, New Jersey, Orlando, Philadelphia, Seattle, and DC. So if you're in any
Yes.
of those areas, especially the finals, which is being played at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey, home of the Jets and the Giants, if you're a football fan, right?
Yes, the New York Jets and Giants who play in New Jersey.
Yes. Yes.
And can we get into the great turf grass debate real quick?
Yes, you sent me a thing on that. I would love to hear more about that.
Yes. So there's been an ongoing debate in the NFL. Players hate playing on turf. It's not good for them. It causes injuries. And MetLife Stadium is known as like the injury capital of the NFL because of their
Really.
turf it's so bad.
And it's because it's harder. Is that an accurate statement? It's
It's
harder.
not natural. And I mean they have two teams playing in there, so that's likely why they have it. So a lot of injuries, a lot of ACL tears, leading ACL tears for the past couple years at this stadium.
Really? Okay, interesting.
And the owners refused to put in grass there. But for the FIFA Club Championship, they have put real grass in there for the soccer players or football players. So there's a
Interesting.
lot of NFL players and fans and NFLPA who are very upset that
Yeah.
for soccer they can put grass in, but for NFL they cannot.
And I'm imagining they're still having maybe not the same amount of games, but they're still having a lot of games on that grass.
They are,
It's
yes.
not uncommon. It's not like it's that far off from what happens in a regular NFL season.
Not at all. No. So there's good, yeah, like, and you said the finals are there. They're playing games all the way through there. So if you want to upset a football fan, mention that.
We talk about grass. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Got it.
So the
Always
grass
good for
turf
your
debate.
you're always good for your barbecue conversation because 'cause you're probably sitting
Yes,
on somebody's lawn.
absolutely.
That's really interesting. Well, I'll be like, I mean, that's like that almost kind of pisses you off if you're a player who lost your
Yeah.
career because you tore your ACL
At that
on this
stadium.
field and they go and fix it for, these soccer teams. However you feel about soccer, that's your but like you're thinking I'm beating my butt up and these guys are running around and I'm getting tackled from all different angles, et cetera, et cetera. Like I could just see them being really not so happy about that.
Correct. Yes. And there's a lot of players who've torn ACLs and had career ending injuries. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles in what, fourth play?
Yep.
Whatever. So I'm sure he's not thrilled.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting.
Hmm.
Aaron Rodgers and his maybe secret, not so secret, maybe marriage.
Maybe, maybe not. We don't
Yeah.
know.
He's going to the Steelers. What tell me about that really quick. Then let's fill the people in on what else is happening. Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers.
Yes.
He's came from the Jets.
The Jets, he was under contract with the Jets for one more year. New coach, new GM. They just want to start over. As you know, Aaron Rodgers can bring conversations that don't involve football into the season, as he likely very much likes to do. He waited a very long time to sign with the Steelers, way past the time any other buddy would sign. So the drama built up and eventually showed up when he had to and signed his contract and casually dropped that he'd been married for a few months. And that's all he said.
But then his family just came out and said maybe it's not real.
Maybe it's not, maybe it is. They don't really know. I guess there's no like record. actual like how do you say like with
Maybe
the
his real
state.
name's not Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe not. Maybe he changed it, and he doesn't have the best relationship with his family, so that could also be a reason they're saying this.
That's true because his brother was on, The Bachelor.
Yeah, and he's married to, I think she was a bachelorette,
I think so
or
too. Yeah, I can't think of her name right now,
they
but
have a
yes,
really a fun home improvement show
that's right. You probably watched that with
that
Ted.
our father watches and
Yeah, a
doesn't know
lot
the
of
name of it,
HGTV.
nor what they do. So maybe, but he will be playing on grass,
He will
so
be
that's a
playing
big
on.
deal
Yeah,
in
there you go.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, way to show up and put some grass on your field. Protect your
Yes,
players. And
yes.
then last, we're over time, but really quickly, we have the
Mhm.
NHL draft that is happening this week as well. Give me the NHL draft in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Wow. Okay. First of all, I went to the NHL draft last year at the Sphere, and that was by far the cheapest way to get into the Sphere ever. So that's kind of why I went. Tickets were very reasonable. I've been to the Sphere. You went to one of the opening concerts, I
I did.
think. It was an amazing experience.
Yep.
Kind of nauseating
Yep.
at times. But yeah, we went there previous years. Like the NFL draft, you'll have all the GMs, all the coaches there at the draft ready to pick. But for some reason, the NHL has gone from a centralized to a decentralized model, kind of like they did during COVID, where
Okay.
teams will not be present at
Interesting.
the
Okay.
actual facility, at the actual draft. They're going to be
Interesting.
back in their home city or a place they deem appropriate to draft from. So they'll have one representative there at the draft.
How does the NFL do it? They're like
Everyone's, yeah,
decentralized.
no, not typically.
Oh, I thought they always
They'll
show the
have the
war.
teams there. They'll have war rooms and stuff, but they'll have like gym and stuff be there.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you mentioned this in our pre-chat that like
Mhm,
the thing to think about with the NHL draft um is that the players don't come like college football
mhm.
and probably a little bit similar in the NBA you're talking about, but like
Yeah.
most of those players come from a United States college football team.
Mhm.
These players for the NHL come from all over the world. So you're scouting
Yes.
all over the world. You're not just hitting American college football
No.
teams. You're hitting all over the world.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of maybe not as many big names that are known to casual fans. Maybe for hockey, you have to be pretty hardcore to know a lot of these prospects because they're in Russia, Canada, Sweden. They're playing in the college game is starting to become a lot more prevalent in the United States. They're going to see a lot more players coming out of there, but they're just spread out all over the world, and it's tough to keep track of a random player in Sweden who's playing, when we sleep because of the time difference. So that makes it a little more challenging to get excited about, a deep draft of names for a casual fan.
But I mean, it's an opportunity from an NHL perspective to
Yes,
then
absolutely.
introduce these players to your fan base who
Hmm.
have no preconceived notions. They aren't like, "Oh my
Exactly.
god, I can't believe you drafted this guy from Texas."
Yeah,
You
and
know?
you've watched play for 3 years, and there's all these media narratives that they
Yeah.
create. Yeah, it's kind of a fresh slate for most of these guys.
Yeah, very, very true. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for filling us in so we can join the conversation this week and then obviously next week for the 4th of July. We'll have more next week, 4th of July week, about Wimbledon and Tour de France and the running of the Bulls and all the things that are happening
Yes.
at that time in Europe. So we're going to have a European edition
Ooh.
of the podcast. So you'll be able to tune into that, but we'll give you all the things you need. Thanks for joining me and sharing all the great small talk combo. I will be putting it to use on my end.
Hopefully, enjoy the wiener talk.